Welcome back. It's Mile High Magazine. Happy Sunday, everybody. And I am Murphy Houston. Hope you're having a great day. It's always fun to have you on board to start your Sunday off here at Mile High Magazine. We always bring in very special guests. And today, on this Labor Day weekend, is no exception. Joining me is Sam Yonke from Conquering CHD Colorado and Margaret Keller of Heart Hero, which is involved with CHD Colorado. Margaret, do I have that part right?
Yes, you sure do.
And Sam, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing fine. You know, it's a holiday weekend. You got a couple of days off. You feel good about that, right?
Of course. Absolutely.
It is. Well, let's get right to it, Sam, since you are probably heading up Conquering CHD Colorado. What is your position with them?
I am currently the president of Conquering CHD Colorado.
Well, congratulations on that. I don't have that in my notes, but I figure if we're talking to you, you got to be a big shot. No doubt about it. It's great. So let's talk about, people are going, well, CHD, what's that all about? What is that? So let's explain what that is.
So CHD stands for congenital heart defects, and that means the baby is born with an existing anomaly of the heart. For instance, my son his name is Toby, and he was born with hypoplastic left heart syndrome, which in basic terms means he was born with half a heart.
Wow, that's really tough. How do they handle that, if you don't mind me asking?
So we delivered at Children's Hospital, and he was rushed to the cardiac ICU right after birth. We didn't get to hold him or anything, and he was in there receiving so many different tests, making sure that he was eligible for an open heart surgery, which he went into at 6 days old and only 6 pounds.
Oh, my gosh.
And they did a 12-hour open surgery.
That's a miracle. That's a true miracle. Well,
when you think about the size of his heart being smaller than a walnut, it's crazy they can work on it.
Well, Children's Hospital is a miracle place. Don't you agree, Sam?
Absolutely.
So how is Toby doing now?
He is going to turn 7 in November, and despite having 3 open heart surgeries, multiple strokes, and other complications, he's pretty much a normal 6-year-old.
Oh,
Henry loves to annoy his siblings.
Well, then he's pretty normal for sure. Is he allowed to play sports and things like that?
So most people are able to play sports once they get older. They just have to be followed closely by a physician and make sure that they sign off on all of the activities that they do.
Well, that makes such a... You actually got to do that with all your kids. No matter what their health situation is, you have to sign off with a doctor before they can play any sports. So is this why you got involved with Conquering CHD Colorado?
Yes, I got involved because we actually lived 3 hours away from Denver, and I didn't know anybody up here in Denver. So I was at the hospital with a newborn and a 2.5-year-old, and I had nobody to support me because my husband had to stay home and work because he couldn't afford to take time off.
Oh, my.
I didn't want anybody else to go through that of being told they don't know if your child's going to make it and you have nobody there to support you.
How tough that must have been. Well, where do you live then if you don't live in Denver?
We actually relocated to Denver, so we are now up here. But before we were from Ray, Colorado.
Oh, Ray. Yeah, that's out of ways. Holy cow. That's a little tough. Did you? Where did you stay when you were here with Toby? Were you at like the Ronald McDonald House?
Yep, I lived at the Ronald McDonald House for 18 months.
Oh, that's a great place, too. We're lucky to have that in Denver. No doubt about it. So talk more about this congenital heart defect. How does that happen? Is that a genetic thing? What causes it?
You know, it's actually the majority of heart defects are just by chance. Less than 20% are genetic related. And that's a big misconception because the general public just assumes that it's something that the mother did while they were pregnant, when actually the heart is usually completely formed before the mother even knows she's pregnant. So it's just somehow the body misses a step with getting it right. I
don't understand that. I mean, they think the mom did something wrong to cause this to happen?
Oh, yes. There is a lot of people that will ask you what you did when you were pregnant to cause it.
Well, let's clear that up right now, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, that is not true. Take that off your list of questions, my friends out there listening right now. So what is the impact of CHD? I mean, you're telling us your personal story, but give us a little more information on that, how that changes your life, and is it a day-to-day thing? You're always worried about something happening? Is that what it's kind of like, Sam?
So for us, it is. So CHD is the most common birth defect. It affects 1 out of 100 babies. So when you figure that out, that's roughly a baby being born every 15 minutes with a heart defect. Now, these defects can range from, on the simpler side of a small hole in the heart to being a critical CHD like my son's. But when you figure it out, that means roughly 40,000 infants are born a year with a heart defect.
That's a lot.
It is. And unfortunately, most of those will need to have some type of medical intervention to sustain life. And it is also the number one mortality causing defect in children.
So here you are, you're in Colorado, you're running Conquering CHD. Talk more about what you do as an organization. And before we do that, Sam, Margaret, are you still there? We haven't said much to you. We haven't said much to you yet, but it's going to happen soon, so don't go away, okay?
No worries.
So, Sam, talk about what you do here with Conquering CHD Colorado.
So Conquering CHD Colorado, we work with people from the time they're prenatally diagnosed through, the pediatric years into the transitioning into adulthood care. And we are also here to provide support to bereaved families. So we are across the lifespan of CHD. And how that looks is we provide support. Some families will call us at 2 o'clock in the morning and say, I just need somebody here. I need somebody to listen. And we're like, okay, we're here for you. What can we do? If you just need an ear, it's open. We provide education material for the families and to the general public, just raising that awareness to let people know about the number one birth defect, because it affects so many families and it is grossly underfunded.
So where do they find you? You must have a website, obviously.
We do. If you go to conqueringchd.org/Colorado, you can also find us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram.
So you're out there, and all the information they need to know about your organization and this phone number you're talking about, if they need help, they can reach out to you. That information's on the website?
So a lot of the times the phone number is actually my personal cell phone. So they just get a hold of it by talking to other families, or if I've talked to them in the past, I never hesitate to give the families my cell phone number and tell them to call me, and I will do my absolute best to help them however I can.
Sam, you're a superstar.
I try.
Well, no, you are.
Superhero.
Yeah, well, yes, you are that too, for sure. We're talking to Sam Yankee of Conquering CHD Colorado, getting the whole story here, and who's been waiting patiently up in Blackhawk is Margaret Keller. How are you, Margaret?
Doing well, thank you.
And you are kind of a superhero heart run benefit person yourself, because didn't you just get back from doing a run someplace for CHD?
I did. We, just had a run in Albuquerque this past weekend, and it was a great success and amazing to be there in person and see all the superheroes flying around. Now we cannot wait to look forward to Denver's coming up.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. Sam, before we do that, I'm like bouncing back and forth here. Sam, are you going to run this year too? Do you run?
I try to.
God bless you.
Usually we don't run the actual race because we're the ones that are
working
going
it.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're working
running
it.
the event.
That's right. So, Margaret, tell us about the event. Sounds like fun.
It is a ton of fun. The Superhero Heart Run is a superhero-themed 5K, 2K nationwide event aimed at raising awareness and funding for congenital heart disease, which, as Sam mentioned, is the most commonly occurring birth defect in the world. So many people never even know anything about CHD until it directly affects them and until they hear the doctor saying something to the effect of, there's something wrong with your baby's heart. And so because of that, we at Heart Heroes partner with other CHD-focused organizations around the country, like Conquering CHD of Colorado here in Denver, to bring these runs and awareness to these local communities and to directly impact the local CHD community with the funds that are raised at these events. So we work with great organizations like Conquering CHD Colorado. And this year's run here in Denver is on September 12th at Hudson Gardens and Event Center.
Oh, that's a beautiful spot over there. That's a great spot for a run.
It really is. It's going to be fantastic, and we're so excited to be back there in person with safety protocols and measures in place, and to be safely walking, running, and flying for the 1 in 100.
So talk about how do you get signed up and get involved? Obviously, we have time. It's only coming up to Labor Day weekend here, so we got time to get involved.
There's still time to get involved. We have our registration online at our website at www.superheroheartrun.com/Denver, and takes you to our registration page. We have opportunities to make donations, to volunteer, to sponsor, or to get involved in other ways as well. So there's really, you can make a team at your work. You can make a team with your family and your friends, and really rally everybody up. All of our registrations include a really fun superhero cape, run bag and sponsor swag, as well as a finisher's medal, so they get a lot of fun stuff too. And we will be kicking things off at 9 a.m. on the 12th. We have a ton of fun stuff in store. We're going to have a raffle, a Heart Hero parade for our honored guests.
Oh, cool. That's cool.
It's very fun to everybody get to walk to see our Heart Heroes walking through as we cheer them on. We also do a very, very special Heart Angel remembrance for those who are no longer with us, because we need to honor and remember those angels.
Absolutely.
And to include those families still in our CHD community, because they are still a part of it,
sure,
even though their children are no longer with us.
So
we also do a Super Kids Dash that is for all the little superheroes at the event, not just their Heart Heroes. So it is a ton of fun.
And they get a cape. How cool is that? A cape?
They all get a cape. We have lots of capes running around. Everybody, our honored guests, our Heart Heroes, have their own special Heart Hero capes that are adorned with a badge of honor on the front that are provided to the kids with CHD. They're custom capes that are provided by the generosity of our donors to Heart Heroes, and that's one of Heart Heroes' primary programs. And so we do have those capes for all of our honored guests that are provided free, and those can be requested at heartheroes.org/request-a-cape.
Oh, that's very nice. Now, Sam, let me ask you, do all the proceeds stay here in Denver?
So since it is two separate organizations, we are both nonprofits. We split the proceeds, and the proceeds that comes with Conquering CHD Colorado, they stay local to support the families that are receiving care in Colorado.
And what kind of support would that be?
So in a typical year, we host multiple events, and these events are held to get the families to meet other families so they can talk to them, talk about their experience, and not so alone in this journey.
Right.
We also host a bereavement event in October, and it's a very special thing that we hold near and dear to our heart, because a lot of our families that have lost a child to CHD, they don't feel like they belong in the CHD world anymore. But we want them to know that they will always be a heart parent, and we will always be there with open arms to support them however.
That's a great thing. Good thing for you. Well, Sam Yankee of Conquering CHD Colorado, Margaret Keller of Heart Hero. Can't wait for the big run coming up in September. Congratulations on all the work you're doing and continued success. Thank you for coming on Mile High Magazine today, both of you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Our pleasure. Sam, take care of yourself, too.
Thank you. You as well.
Yeah. Good talking with you. And you guys out there in the listening world, hang on. It's Mile High Magazine. We'll take a break and be right back.